the youth and sexuality. Introduction. So we are having a gender conference today. I just wonder if we understand what gender means. What's the difference between sex and gender? What's the difference? I'm sure you've seen those two words. Are they related in any way? Are they the same word? So sex basically is about whether you are male or female. But gender is a manifestation of sex. So gender is a manifestation. It's a simple, easy, understandable way. So men or males have certain ways that we behave, right? So that's your gender as a male. So the male gender, when you're talking about a male gender, you're talking about the male in action in regards to who the male is, or as some things that you can identify about men, especially when it comes to behavior, to social or cultural things. That's the gender at play. And that's the crisis we are facing actually in our current world, where gender has become like they are trying to promote the idea that gender is a socially promoted thing. So we cannot see, that's why you're having intergender and homosexuality and all those things, because they are now saying that unlike the previous or what the actual correct thing should be, where gender is fixed, they want to now play with gender. So you will choose how you want to manifest your own gender. Okay. So if you talk about sexuality, we are talking about, just like Richard said, possession of the structural and functional traits of a sex. So you have two sexes, right? The male sex and the female sex. So if you have the structural traits of the male sex, you know what the structural traits of the male sex is, right? If somebody is standing naked here, based on the person's nakedness, you can tell whether the person is a male or a female. And then also, apart from the structural, which is refers to physicality, I also talk about functional. So the role that the male and the females plays as far as their behavior, both social, cultural behaviors. That's what sexuality is about. I want us to get a quick view of these things before we go into. Then nextly, God is the one who created us as men and women, or males and females. It was God's own purpose. Last year, last two years, because of the COVID-19, we were not able to do this. But 2 years ago when we did it, the theme was male and female, he created them. And we got to understand a lot of things concerning the male gender and the male sex and the female sex and the gender at play and all that. So it's God who made us that way. It's not a mistake. But then when it comes to our sexuality, there are various things that can play a role in our sexuality. Naturally, we are men and women, right? But if you move from various cultures, there are certain peculiar things as far as our function is concerned. For instance, the way that maybe the Chinese or the Japanese might have their social or cultural setting, and what they allow their men to do or their women to do might differ in one way or the other. Or even let's not go so far going Chinese for this, even amongst our own people. Sometimes even amongst different tribes have their different cultural things which determine the way they interact as men and women. So that can also influence gender at play. But basically, nature makes it so glaring to the extent that even if you look at throughout the world, be it various cultures, various backgrounds, various races, we see a lot of things which are in common as far as men and women are concerned. Because naturally, men and women, that's the male and the female, have certain things that come from them instinctually. If I say anything, I talk about innate, it's inborn within us. So no, that's why when you see a guy behaving a particular way, you say, why are you behaving like a girl? You can see a lady also behaving a particular way. You say, this lady behaves so much like a man, because we expect it. It's the natural thing. So if we see anything which doesn't match that, it's actually seen as a deviation. That is nature speaking. You see, but of course, nature or your upbringing can influence your sexuality in one way or the other. Okay, so this particular one, I think this year I was trying to see from which direction are we coming from. Those who were here previous years know that usually there are different directions that we come from. In the last year, for instance, we spoke about nature, male and female nature. We spoke about the behaviors of men and women and the reasoning behind it. This year, we identified that most of us here are very, very young. We are young, right? I think most of us are below 30 years. The majority will be in their 20s. So the direction we'll be going through is our sexuality at play. Because you see, the thing is that one thing about sexuality you have to understand is that God says male and female, He created them. And this male and female thing is not just about human beings. It cuts across. When you go to the God's kingdom, there's male and female. It's something that's nature. It's a cross section of nature. Almost all, even plants, they have their own sex. For instance, when you pick this plant, what's the name of this plant? Green pepper. We have the male one, the female. I think the male one, when you look under, you see four. It's four. I don't know if you know where I'm coming from. You see, when you look under it, you see some of them, they have three. Like it's like a triangle, like this. Others are four. So usually you have to differentiate the sex of that as well. And it cuts across even the plant world, the human world, and you see that when it comes to that, this male and female issue, if you study animals closely, there are certain behaviors amongst them. Look at the cock. Or look at the goats, the female goats and the male goats. They behave differently. And you can easily ask them to about a lot of one thing. Look at their sexuality. The sexuality of even the goats or the fowl. They behave in certain ways. So sexuality or male and female cuts across. And the behaviors are very, very, very predictable. I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say. I want you to just take a moment to absorb what I just mentioned. Okay. But today we want to talk about the issue of relationships. Because like we said in the first, the very, very first topic, when we talk about the purpose of youth, we've got to understand that one of the major issues of youth is that we don't have understanding of the dynamics of life. And then by the time we come to have a good understanding of the dynamics of life, it's too late. And I give you the instance of the embroidery, right? When we look at an embroidery from the front, you can see the bright colors. From the back, which is the wrong side, because if you turn it inside out, nobody will appreciate the other side. But the other side, although it might not look so attractive, it actually gives you a good information of why the front bright part is what it is. So usually in life, unfortunately, when you are very young at this age, in our 20s, in our 30s, in our 40s, we don't really have a very good grasp of life. So we might live without a very good amount of understanding. By the time we actually get the understanding of what we should have done or the silly things you do, let's even just look into your recent. Maybe by the time you're in secondary school. I think most of us have gone through secondary school. When you look back, even in recent past, you can see that when I should have done this, so if I had joined this, why? Because you're not looking at the other side, but then it's too late. You cannot go back to secondary school again. So we want to take this opportunity to actually make us understand. You are not at the other side, yes, but let's take a walk at the other side so that you will get a good view of the other side, so that you can appreciate this side. Do you get the picture I'm trying to create? Okay, so first and foremost, we are talking about sexuality and issues of feelings. And I'm sure that, like we said in the first part one of the youth and sexuality, all of us have feelings. It's not something that we choose to. We get attracted to. We have that serious edge. But unfortunately, that's why when I was talking about the purpose of youth, I spoke about the heart, the mind, and the spirit. And I explained to you the nature of the heart. When it wants something, it wants it now. It seeks pleasure. And it pushes you to do what it wants you to do. You might know the right thing, and your mind is speaking to you. Your mind is giving you the mental thing that this thing you're going to do, this is the trouble that will come. We don't do it. But your heart doesn't care. I give you the example of you giving money to go and buy something. You go there, as you are going there, you meet another thing. The money is not yours, but your heart says, buy this phone. And your mind is saying that, where will you get money to pay for it? But I say, don't worry about that. Let's enjoy. It's fine. You really feel it's a nice phone. Or this phone is, you see, that's how the heart is. And unfortunately, in youth, that's the predominant part. As you reach your middle age, your mind takes over. When you reach your old age, then your spirits now start dominating more. So it's your duty for you to suppress or be the master, or I will not say necessarily master, but learn how to regulate it so that it doesn't destroy you. Because the thing that destroys youth is this heart, because it's predominating youth. So the heart is like a chameleon. The Bible says it's deceptive beyond all. Who can understand it? Why? Because when it comes to things that are relation to the heart, be it in relationship or in general, there's always a flood of contradictions. One day you say you like this person so much, and then you wake up and you're like, well, I like her, but I don't feel like going today. That's how the heart is. So the heart can promise, and the guy will come and tell, I love you, I cannot live without you. And you look back and you say, so this is the guy who said they cannot live without you. You see that person, you see that's how the heart is. Promise, it bites more than it can chew. It's a dangerous thing for you to rely on your heart. You will mess up in life. A very, very dangerous, because the heart is never dependable. It does what it feels like doing. It's always seeking pleasure. Where there's pleasure, it will push you. Let's do it. Let's do it. As soon as you finish doing it, when the trouble comes, it's not be there. You have to go and hide somewhere watching behind the scene. Okay, so there's a flood of contradictions, because when it comes to matters of the heart, it's not reliable. One day it's saying this, and that day I don't feel like, I don't want to. There's something I say, oh, come tomorrow, I'll be there. Oh, don't worry, I'll be there. You wake up the next morning, today, I don't feel like going. That's what makes human beings not trustworthy. It's not our mind. For our mind, it's always looking for a reason. So that your mind will speak to you as far as God is concerned. It will tell you that don't do this. Why? Based on your level of understanding and what is inside of you, it will give you the reason why you shouldn't do it in a logical way. But your heart doesn't deal with reason. It's gone and gone in a hurry. So the heart is like a chameleon. And if you are trying to live your life based on the concept of heart, you always be grasping shadows. You think you are there, you catch, and you're not there. And that's why when it comes to the issue of this broken heart thing, somebody will say it will reach all of us. Because when it comes to the matters of the heart, there's no predictability. And as a youth, you should understand it. You are standing here, you are seeing it's like a chameleon. It changes colors as at when. Okay. So, you are youth. And you say, oh, I want to be alone. I just want to have time to concentrate on things. Sometimes you feel you want solitude. You feel you want to be alone. You feel you want to do your own thing. Say, oh, I'm not ready for a relationship or whatever it is. But when it comes to the matters of the heart, because human beings have that aspect of us, there's always something within us that is calling something. Because you have what? Sexuality. So it's not you who chooses that you want to. Like I said in the very first part, the purpose of youth, we talked about the nature's task of making sure that we meet its target. If you are here. So because nature has a task and it's ruthless and wants to meet that target, it's not you who is going to choose. Because you start feeling like if you want to be alone, you start getting from time to time some restless torment. Do you understand what I mean by restless torment? You feel like you want to be around someone. You want someone to love. You want someone to be with. It's like a vacancy within you as a human being. It's like a void in the heart. The heart has a void. It needs something to satisfy or fill that void. And when that thing is missing, it will keep on calling to you. It's in need of loving. It's in need of companionship. That's how we are. And it can become very, very tricky and dangerous. Because out of that desperation, if not under control, under the reins, you can easily go astray and find yourself in an event or in a situation that you shouldn't find yourself in. Because the issue of love or companionship to the heart is like the way food is to the body. If you need food every day to live, and you need food to survive and for your body to be able to be nourished, your heart also needs that kind of communion, that kind of companionship. It's not something that you can easily do away with. You cannot easily do away with it. It's like something that keeps on biting at you, keeps on pursuing you. Your mind will go there, your heart will go there, and it continuously keeps on. Like I said, told you, when it comes to the matters of the heart, when your spirit is speaking to you, it doesn't force you. I gave you a picture, right? That when your mind is speaking to you, it walks with you and it talks. If it's a person, and to be trying to give you a reason, this thing, don't do it, or this, that, or do this to help you, your heart will be pushing you. Do it, let's go. Like it actually doesn't just talk to you. It doesn't give you reason. Your spirit actually speaks to you, but it doesn't force you. So it stands behind and be talking to you. If you go afar from it and you don't encourage it, it will tear itself. And that's why most of us are so far away from discernment, because we are not in touch with our spirits. So sometimes you can hear something telling you something, but it seems so far away. You cannot really get a very clear view of the voice. It's a spirit that's speaking to you. And the fortunate thing about the spirit is that it doesn't speak based on even logic. It speaks based on truth. Because it's a channel through which you can be reached easily. So when it comes to matters of feelings, again, I think today I realize that most people are going to be in their 20s, so I believe that's why I want to concentrate here a lot. What makes the whole issue of erotic love? This time I want to use erotic love, because when it comes to love, there are different kinds of love, right? I'm talking about love, feelings kind of love. And most of you are youth here, you are in your 20s majority, so that's what I want to talk. So we have love that's between friendship. When you have someone you are telling your friend, you don't have feelings for that person in that direction, or you want to be kissing your friends. so that's where I'm coming from. I'm talking about erotic love in this case, so that you don't mix it. What makes it dangerous? What makes it dangerous is the spiritualization of our sexuality. Do you understand what I say, spiritualization of sexuality? Some of us like spiritualizing sexuality too much. And sexuality is not spirituality. They might have quite a number of things in common, but they are not the same. Me, I'm not like that. For me, I'm spiritual. No, it's not that. If that's the case, like no pastor will be. I'm telling you, there's nothing like me, I'm spiritual. So, no, you have to respect your body. Otherwise, your body will disrespect you. You hear what I said? If you don't respect your body, you are like, oh, I can do, me, I'm strong. It will disrespect you, it will disappoint you. There's nothing like, so don't, and also the sublime view we have of erotic love. You know, when you are having that kind of feelings for a person, a very vital aspect of it is when you start trying to spiritually, you are lifting it up, like, oh, for us, we are so special together, our own is different, and oh man, it's a very, very dangerous thing. That's what makes love dangerous. What do I mean? We have to go on, you understand better what I'm saying. What you have to understand about love is that it's a good thing to have erotic love, but don't spiritualize it. It's a blind instinct. It's like an appetite. Let me give you an example. What made you want this guy rather than this guy? It's like the reason why somebody says I like yam, and another person says I like beans. Maybe you don't like beans because I like beans, but beans is nice. What is beans? Why do you like beans? Because I just like beans. It tastes good to me, I like beans. That's the difference. So why are you spiritual? Do you spiritualize that one? Like, oh, for us, there's God who put us together. Like you know, but that's a danger. That's what because when you spiritualize so much, then you lift your head above the clouds and you don't see earth. You understand what I'm trying to say? You don't see reality anymore. Because if your head's above the clouds, you don't see what's on land. If you are in the plane and you are moving and it goes above the clouds, you don't see this, you just see the clouds. You don't see what's happening down until it's changed. Because sometimes planes go over the clouds. That's where usually they, unless they are coming down. So that's the kind of thing. So whenever you spiritualize erotic love, you lift your head above the clouds and you're going to suffer because you don't see reality anymore. You're wearing a spectacle of fantasy. And you're going to pay for it. And I'm sure that what I'm saying you understand. Most of you at least you've been in the number of, so you understand. You're going to pay for it. I'm not saying it's a danger. It's something that you are moved towards. But if you don't want to make stupid mistakes in life, as a youth, especially at this your age, don't spiritualize erotic love. It's an instinct. It's something that we have to do. If you are a healthy, functioning male or female, it's like an appetite, a taste, a preference. What makes somebody prefer the blue color? And so, I like the red one. I think the blue one is not. It's a taste. Like, is it Kweku men who say we are the taste? If you're watching this, what do you call this? Nigerian, is it Ghanaian? Come on, we are the taste. I think the person, that's what it's a taste. What makes somebody like chocolate and that person wants strawberry? Because sometimes you can place both down. For me, for instance, I don't like sobolo so much. But somebody says sobolo, like the way I'm saying, somebody says, what do you mean I don't like sobolo? It doesn't taste good to me. Somebody also doesn't like chocolates. I prefer chocolates. Or I prefer pineapple. Somebody likes orange. If somebody is saying they like orange so much, it doesn't make sense to me. I feel it's okay. I can take orange. But to you, you're like orange, like so. That's the same way when it comes. It's a taste. It's a blind instinct. Okay. And then the issue comes in. I am no master of my heart. I think it's one thing that most people say most of the time. when we want to give excuses why we are fooling. And you say, oh, I mean, you know your heart, you cannot come, it's my, yes, I understand. It's like I said, the heart is a very powerful thing. Sometimes you can do the right thing to do, but your heart will be pulling you to do certain things because you found it. But it's like that one is a Hollywood philosophy or Nollywood Nigerian movie, like we usually say. That's what you see in the Nigerian movies. It's a dangerous way to think. Sometimes your heart is a powerful thing, but it's not beyond you. I don't think I'm coming from. It's not. You find yourself with a wee boy and say, this is a guy I like. I get where I'm coming from. You can actually, you have control. You can choose to do what, like I said, the reason why the heart is difficult to control is because unlike the mind that speaks to you and keeps on speaking to you till you get tired and leaves you alone, the heart, you have to really fight it. Because like I gave you the example, the mind will talk to you, but you don't do this thing, it will be giving reasons. But your heart will be moving, let's go ahead. You see that kind of thing, it's be pulling you. That's why you be thinking about that person again and again. In your bed, it's still pushing you. I get where I'm coming from. That's what makes the heart very powerful. Because not like the mind that is trying to get the conversation, the heart doesn't want to get it. It wants it wants the pleasure. You ask me, why do I not? Don't worry, tomorrow it will be okay. Don't worry, this will be alright. But this guy is like this and that. Don't worry, it will be okay. Don't think about that one now. You like the guy. The heart doesn't want to think. It doesn't have any interest in thinking or discussion. No. As you are talking about, your mind is giving you this thing. Oh, then your heart will, don't worry about that one day, you forget, it will be okay. It will be. Let's go on. And that's what makes the heart very dangerous. But if you say you are no master of your heart, then my brother, my sister, you're in very big trouble. Because you mess up, sir, and I think that's the reason most of you mess up, sir. It's a Hollywood philosophy. It's a way of justifying your weakness, just like the guy who got gout. You know what gout is? Gout, people who get, you feeling pain in your joints, usually it comes to the knees. It's not a very common condition in Africa here, but you are those who live in very extravagant countries, they eat a lot of too much protein and other things. They get that. Uric acid gathers in the joints. It's very, very painful. It gets swollen. So it's just like a guy who got gout and started cursing Domelo. Domelo was here because he has forgotten that. He has forgotten that he's the one who gave him the Domelo come to eat you. They all went for it, you buy it, and now out of your own. So you are justifying your weakness. You are trying to put the blame on who? But your heart is just one component of your whole being. You cannot justify your weakness. But what I want to tell you in summary of this, that the excuse that you are no master of your heart is a dangerous excuse for you to give yourself. Not just even in matters of the heart, in terms of relationships and romantic affairs, but in every aspect of life. You have to let your spirit man lead you. You have to reason with your mind. Don't let your heart be the soldier. It's like a court, right? Your heart, your mind, and your spirit are sitting down. They are all supposed to. Who are you going to listen to? Who are you going to pay attention to? If I say emotion, that means anytime you go now, when your mind is speaking to you and giving you reasons why your spirit man is giving you discernment and that thing, you just sat them and say, I'm no master of my heart, since they are facing my God. That's the kind of life you are living. And like I told you, it's a dangerous thing because the heart is not it's not something to be following just like, because you see, your heart can lead you to do some good things. But the problem with the heart is that when it's making a mistake or it's messing up, all it cares about is pleasure or what its satisfaction. It doesn't look at the other side of things. So your passions, your feelings, they are good things. They are just like the chemics. When if you go to a pharmacy shop or you go to NS chemist where they make their chemicals and their drugs or any chemical shop, sometimes they can mix a number of medications or a number of chemicals. Some of the chemicals can be actually poisonous. That if you take them raw like that, it will kill you. But they will mix the poisonous one with the good one, and when you take it, that actually gives you help. So it depends on the way you manage affairs of your heart and where it leads you to. Erotic love is okay, but the passions, they are dangerous poisons, but beneficial remedies. dangerous poison, but beneficial in the hands of what? A good chemist. So depending on who you are and what you think and you understand that in your hands, it will come out. Because let me tell you, the encounter that one person will have in their relationship, not the same encounter that person will have when it comes to. That's why you see some of the friends are there, they always struggle when, because why? It depends on how you handle it. If I give you 3 chemicals or 15 chemicals, I think go and mix them. Somebody will go and mix them, kind of give it to you and it's poison, you drink it and you die. Another person will go and mix them and will get it right. So I'm saying that they are dangerous chemicals, your passions, but it depends on how you handle it. The dangers of a trusted virtue. I'm trying to move fast because there are a number of things to talk about. What do I mean a trusted virtue? This part is something that is really on my heart. I think I have to talk about that quite well. Because that's the danger that all of us fall through, especially as youth. When we trust our virtue, oh, me, I'm not like that. Oh, it cannot happen to me. That guy, no, it will not happen. I guess you feel your best. For me, I'm good. I'm not like that. Others. And it's a very dangerous thing, though. Because you see, let me give an instance. Be it on the side of guys or ladies, but usually it's something that usually happens to ladies a lot. I'm sure that some of you have had your own personal experiences concerning that. So you meet this guy, the guy wants to sleep with you. You've heard his track record already. But you are playing around with fire. Young lady. It happens to guys too. Nowadays the ladies are very, very distinct. Yeah, the guys too, the ladies are very, very assertive. so you'll be getting accustomed to slight favors. So just a hug. Just a hug. In your mind you say, after all, even my friends have hug them, so what is this? It's not a big deal, it's okay. It's nothing. By the time you realize you are becoming accustomed or so used to the slight favors. So I'm just using the issue of the hug as an example. It can be in any way. It's like you are climbing the ladder. You don't realize until it's too late. And most of the time, what will make you actually fall for those kind of things is your trust in your virtue. But when it comes to sexuality, it doesn't respect anybody. No, it doesn't respect pastor or women. When it comes to issues of sexuality, it doesn't respect what anybody. All of us have sexuality. So you start getting accustomed to slight favors. Just a kiss after I'm not sleeping with you. Okay. Then your virtue will be reassuring you. You are a master of yourself. Don't worry. You can handle even when it comes to you know. Me, I know my boundaries. Hey, my brother. You don't know your boundaries, Your virtue will disappoint you. Listen to what I'm saying. I know some of you have your own personal stories coming. So if I give you time for testimonies, I'm sure that you are laughing. You have a testimony to give. You cannot trust in that. You say, she's trying. Say, I miss you. I just want to see you. You nothing. Just come in. Let's hug. You're like, okay, it's nothing there for me. It's not happening. I guess. My sister. Okay. So your virtue. The danger is that your virtue that you trust in will start assuring you that after all, it's just you know your boundaries. You've not crossed that line. For you, you're not like that. Because when God was creating people, He created some people like that, and you are not perfect people were created like that. Hey! Okay, so let's go on. All of us are like that too. We are cut from the same cloth. If you are good in one way or the other, you have certain kind of virtue. Don't trust in it as if maybe that virtue, when God was creating the world, when He was thinking about honesty, it was you that He was created for. He put it there. Don't think that way. Nobody, all of us, virtues are developed, character is developing. But you cannot trust so much in the virtue or character and think that you are infallible or invincible. For me, I'm a Christian. I go to SU every time. But the way your virtue reassures you that you are master of yourself and you are in control will give you a mistaken impression of your power of refusal. You understand what I'm trying to say? So if he's trying to force me that I will not sleep for that one day, I will not sleep with him. Or if he's forcing, I'll go. But if I go and he's forcing to kiss me there for that one, I won't do. But it's a mistaken impression of what? Your power of refusal. When we get to a certain place, you understand what I'm trying to say better. You don't have that power of refusal like you think you have. Your body will disappoint you. And because of that mistaken impression, you are challenging danger by cutting it. Is somebody here with me? You'll be challenging danger by cutting. You are playing with fire. because you don't understand that virtue. If, for instance, you have when we're in primary school, we used to wear that brown and brown, right? Yeah. And maybe sometimes your trouser might get torn. Okay, your trouser might get torn, and for the time being, before anyone will be sewn for you, just patch it, and your friends will be teasing you about to do that. Yeah, you remember. So virtue is nothing but a piece of patchwork when it comes to matters of the heart. I don't think I'm coming from. It's a piece of patchwork. Because you see, in your nature and your sexuality itself, you are vulnerable to certain things, impressions. Some of the impressions are there. You'll be seduced without actually, you didn't know. If the person who is seducing you, just like Richie was saying that in his talk, it's not even intentionally seducing you. There are times that people seduce without intentionally doing it. But you'll be picking impressions. With the sound of somebody's voice, the person sings, they go home and you start remembering the person sing based on maybe the pain the person touched, all this impression. So when it comes to those things, you are no master because it's passing through, not the front door. The bet you know, it's like you're standing at the front door here, you close the door, you're saying, I'm coming, nobody can enter the room. But if you contact there's a back door here. That's how dangerous it is when you trust your best that me, I'm a good boy. There's a back door. So it's a subconscious thing that's happening to you without your logical. By the time you realize you have gotten so much into someone without knowing where it started from. You understand what I'm trying to say? Okay. This year, this is the direction I chose to go to. I didn't go through this reality of male-female interactions thing like we've been talking about in the previous years. Okay, well, a case of morality. So when it comes to issues, once again, of virtue and morality, you see people, right? Maybe critique. This one there is a SU leader. When it comes to even that, there's no difference in their nature from others as far as their basic nature is concerned. From their outside, they might have an imposing exterior. I'm sure that some of you see me and think like, Daniel, there, you have not even seen anything before. It's not like that. But if you, that's why God is making me want to tell you this, so at least you believe. And so some of you, when you see me, think that, I don't trust myself. I don't trust. I think that's what actually kept me, because I don't trust myself. Where do you go? I don't trust myself. The mistake that most people make, that they mess up. So, actually, so from the exterior, they have an imposing exterior. That this person, the way is the. But the only person that they can deceive is people who don't have understanding. That's why you hear so many stories of girls who were so good girls and other things, and all of a sudden you see them with this. How did this happen? It's not possible. What happened? It doesn't work that way. But when it comes to matters of the heart, all of us are the same. I don't think you can understand what I'm trying to say. When it comes to the natural history, when you talk about natural history, you're talking about medicine. It's like if they talk about natural history of malaria, you know that malaria, that's how like it goes. Like a person with jet fever, that. So that when it comes to the natural cause of a disease or this thing, you understand that when somebody gets typhoid fever, these are the steps to go through this. By the second week, this is what will happen. The person gets a hand. So that's what I'm talking about. So that one is predictable. So it's based on a natural history that we're able to diagnose a condition. You understand what I'm trying to say? So when it comes to the natural history of matters of the heart, all of us are what they say. When it comes to the issues of, we face the same issues. The SU president, we all face the same issue because we're cut from the same cloth. We are all prone to all manner of vices, envy. All many of us have envy before. It's one of the most difficult things to admit in this world, that you envy someone. Because all of us are cut from the same cloth, all of us are prone to envy, to getting annoyed. All of us are prone, although it might differ in temperament and all that. All of us do. Even Jesus Christ got angry and started the place. I guess all of that, that's the humanity of Christ. Okay. So I'm saying when it comes to matters of the heart, all of us are the same. The natural history of this happening and the guy didn't mind, the girl didn't mind you, and now you are like, why is he not minding me? Whether that's SU president or pope, it's the same thing. You know what I'm trying to talk about. Okay. So erotic love is a work of the senses. erotic love. Are you enjoying that? Okay. It's a work of the senses. I think these things are. I was trying to see what I would talk about. There were so many things to talk about, so I just have to pick and summarize a few of the things. Erotic love is a work of the senses. It's not a work of spiritual things. It's not a spiritual movement. It's a work of the senses. But the danger comes in when we spiritualize it. When we talk about erotic love, we are considering fetishes. You understand what I mean by you are considering fetishes? You see, sometimes some churches are there, they try to spiritualize the whole erotic love thing as if like the spirit of God. No. We are considering fetishes. A fetish, in this case, not a fetish priest though. I'm talking about something. I think last 2 years I mentioned this fetish when I was talking to the ladies. Something that is not a sexual organ, but it arouses sexually. So we know the sexual organs, right? The penis and the vagina. They are sexual organs. So anything which is not a sexual organ but arouses sexually is a fetish. So someone will tell you that me, say or buy a wire rasta. I know someone like that. And then yeah. Or someone will tell you, shape it, where? You see, it's a fetish. So erotic love is based on senses, smell, eyes, what your eyes are seeing that pleases you. And I guess it's physical. Not spiritual. It be physical things about senses and feelings. So when we talk about erotic love, it's a work of the senses. It's in consideration of fetishes. If it were not in consideration of fetishes, you are saying that, oh, me, I like this girl so much, oh, I like this guy so much, the way he is so good, he is so nice. Listen, there are so many people who are good, who are your colleagues. There are so many people who are even older in their goodness, even they have been promoted because they are older. They are 50. You met another woman, right? She is 55 years old. She's even gooder than the girl you're talking about who is 20 years old. Why did you use that one? This is not the way of the senses. Let's stop that hypocrisy. Those kind of hypocrisies actually are very dangerous ones because that is what makes us make the whole issue of erotic love very sublime, and we pay for it. I think Richard was talking about something in relation to that, where we uplift it into the clouds so much, then we don't see things as we are supposed to see. Okay, let's go on. So if you neglected a lot of people who are of the same age, the same height, the same but like I said, it's a taste, preference that you have for one person in relation to other. And yet, if it was really as spiritual that you want to make it, why is it that you desire to be distinguished by this particular person if it's not your ego that's worrying you? That if that particular guy or that lady is paying attention to somebody else, then you start getting worried. You see, you are in another dimension. It's not spiritual dimension, it's a sexual dimension. It's something like jealousy in spirituality. I don't know unless you train me in that one. But you have to understand it and appreciate erotic love for what it is. This issue of feelings. Don't send it and confuse it with something that it's not. Okay, this one I think I'll come there later because of our time. Okay. I'll come there later. I know why I'm doing that one day. Okay, so before we go back to where we are coming from, I want to talk about the few things. This is a poetry that I wrote 10 years ago, 2010, right? It's the issue of the heart and the mind. The title is Heart or Mind. It was in 3 parts, part 1, part 2. This is a part 2, I think. Not everything, but some of the stanzas. It's a poetry. So I want you to watch it closely. Listen, read it closely. It says, my mind questions my heart, but to little avail. Too busy caught up in its own detail. My heart leaps at a smile or a loving word. My mind only questions the things I have heard. My heart seeks love, and my mind seeks the truth. It has been the same battle in these days of my youth. My heart answers to no one, least of all me. It gives its love away and gives it for free. In my simple world, I certainly find it's always my heart and rarely my mind. My mind will always wrestle with worry, but my heart is gone and gone in a hurry. Convince my heart with a simple smile, and my mind will catch up in a little while. Convince my mind with a lifetime of care, but from the start, my heart would have been there. I think we can relate, right? This is how the dynamics of your mind and your heart, where your mind is thinking, your heart has already made this decision. I get where I'm coming from. So like I said, my mind will always wrestle with worry, but my heart is gone and gone in a hurry. My heart answers to no one, least of all me. It gives its love away and gives it for free. It doesn't have any logical criteria as to what it does and why it does what it does. Convince my mind with a lifetime of care, but from the start, my heart would have been there. So you see, that's why sometimes, be it a lady or a gentleman, maybe there's a particular lady or gentleman who is worrying you, right? But the person is doing everything that logically suggests that no small guidance and there. Why? Where he only have if you want anything. So you see, that's why convince my mind a lifetime of care. But where from the start, my heart would have been there. You understand? So you are trying everything as far as your mind, the mind criteria or the mental is concerned. People are like, oh, the way he's helping is so nice. This guy is this. But as far as your heart is concerned, it hasn't gone there yet. Your heart has to go there first. And the principle by which govern it is not the same principle that governs the mind. Logically, we are seeing that this guy would have been a very nice guy, he would have been a perfect guy for you. But when it comes to your heart itself, it's not picking it. It's not picking the signal like that. Your mind has actually thought about the logical part of it. Oh, it's good. He's very nice. He has a very good character and all that. And that's why when it even comes to the heart, you have to be careful what our heart is made of. You know, sometimes your heart will actually point to the stuff you are made of. If you realize that every time, because your heart, that means you yourself, you are sick. Your heart is sick. I get where I'm coming from. You are basically like, every time that there's something wrong with you. It's a sickness of the soul. Your soul is sick soul. Because of course, if I'm the fact that we are saying that the heart is decides what it wants to do and doesn't. If your heart is not sick, it should be telling me that slave queens and fraud boys or guys who are rough and like I guess where I'm coming from. That's the only group of. It doesn't say something. For instance, if you are not sick, why would you be eating soil? Sometimes you meet children eating soil, right? Or chewing dry things which are not good. It's a sign of sickness. Usually, when you see that as a medical professional, you automatically say that the person has a anemia. When people have low blood this thing and they are not eating well, food that this thing, usually start eating some strange things. You'll be seeing dry things. Sometimes you don't eat and you chew it. And what do you call it? And that's why usually pregnant women like this are eloting, because pregnant women are very prone to anemia. Because the child is inside of them, their blood becomes very diluted, and the child, if you don't eat well, their blood level goes down, and then you'll be having taste for some unnecessary things which are not normal. Why? It's a sign of sickness. So the same way, if you realize that your taste, I said that it's your taste. But I think that was your taste, that's your taste. That means you are sick. You have anemia. So anemia of the soul. You have to. That means it's based on what you consume or what you have exposed yourself to. I understand what I'm saying. So it's not an excuse that I'm no master of myself. Okay. Last year. Hey, why is the thing? Okay. We spoke about some things, and it's almost done. Okay. So, I just wanted to mention a few things. Last 2 years, I mentioned a few of them. I think they are very important things for us to be aware of, because sometimes, like I said something during the very first talk, that sometimes it's not out of stupidity that you are deceived, but it's out of too much of goodness. In the same way, sometimes it's not out of because we are so bad as people or corrupt that we are seduced or deceived or led astray or taken advantage of. But sometimes because we don't see we don't have understanding. And because of that, it's very, very easy for you to deceive. What do I mean by that? We'll talk about some few points. And as youth, I'm sure that this is a very active phase of your life when it comes to matters of the heart. When it comes to relationship, you are in a constant test. There's a void in your heart that's always seeking to be filled. So you realize that it's not just you, but your colleagues or your this. Every time when you meet, these kind of issues are things that are very primary. But it's not like that forever. You reach a particular age, we all reach a particular age where we are much older, we are advanced in age, and you don't be so interested in this kind of things anymore. So this is a stage. This is a particular stage that this is what's supposed to happen. It's expected for you to actually feel this way. So it's not strange. But then you have to be aware of what is happening around you, so that you don't find yourself in a position where you are making some mistakes that you shouldn't be making. And that's where the issue of seduction comes in. I think Mr. Richard mentioned it earlier on. He gave us a big intro to it. And it's about being persuaded to do something against your initial will. So for instance, there's something that you wouldn't have done under all normal circumstances, right? You're a young Christian man or woman, but you can convince to do it. Not against your will, but with your will. So the person will persuade you or convince you to do what they want you to do. So for instance, it happens at politicians seduce us. TV advertisements seduces us. Yes, like that. So you watching it. There are some adverts, and when you sit behind it, you cannot sleep without finishing watching the adverts. You know, it's actually you have seen the colors. I remember there's this one that I really enjoy a lot. It's about some food. Is it Indomie something? They don't just throw the thing, it just falls down. You can see the color, the brightness of the color. It's a very, very seductive advertisement. And it's very, very because you see all the things falling, like everything is in details. And it seduces you. It pulls you in, you just want to watch that. Every time you see and that's why you usually see children. When children are sitting behind TV, what will make you know what you have is very effective. Because we adults, we are distracted. We have many issues in life already. Yeah, you're saying it sometimes. But for children, you don't have anything to think about. So you can see a child is watching TV, doesn't have comes from. You call the child, don't mind, you just it's actually that's happening there. Something pulls you in, and you are so drawn in to the sense that you lose your immediate senses. You are not in your mind anymore. Sometimes one of the ways is to stir discontent. So you watch an advert when it comes to beer. You want to drink the beer, right? Okay. They will make it seem as if there's something wrong with you if you don't drink the beer. So maybe all the guys can be at the place. You see, attention for a particular protocol, very, very predictable protocol. So it's always about stirring discontent, pulling in with some colors and some imagery and other things. So what is happening is that they come and say, oh, this perfume. So all the people are listening, and the guy came, they give you that piece of beside all the girls are following. You say that you know when you think that you think you are so wise, but it has got you. Because that thing is not working directly on your mind, it's working at the back door. If that was it, so why is it that we are so obsessed with some products? They said the product that started long ago. This is so. They said that when it comes to powder soap, we call all powder soap Omo. Why? That's the ideal. Like if you are going to buy it, if you buy Omo, okay, don't buy it. Buy because the boy needs to use your from then you go. That's what I mean when I say seduction. So seduction, initially maybe if you have just seen the products in maybe a container, Omo is in the bowl, you really have wanted to use it. But they have to pull you or convince you or persuade you on why they want you to do it. And most of the time, of course, there are people who seduce you intentionally. They actually have a plan for you. One junior or one top plan. Oh, this girl or this guy, this is what I'll do. I'll dress this well. But many of the time, or majority of the time, we are seduced, and we even seduce people unconsciously. So when we talk about seduction, it's not a word that is like some demonic word which has been pulled from the depths of hell or something like that. It's sometimes an everyday reality thing. It happens. Be it consciously, intentionally, not intentionally, it's going to happen. Like somebody said, it's Rasta that. So it happens. So it's about stirring discontent where you are made to feel as if there's something. So let me give you an example. Maybe, I'm sure that some of you have that experience where there's a particular lady or a particular guy in your life. And this guy actually always makes you feel inadequate. Meanwhile, he's a guy that you keep on choosing and chasing. Do you understand what I'm trying to talk about? He makes you feel like, he asks you, are you there, you're bored, you cry, this, that. Every day, telling you those kind of things. But somehow, with that, he's seducing you. You understand what I'm saying? The inadequacy that is making you feel. Why? Because the inadequacy makes you feel as if. I'm sure that what I'm saying. I won't say anything that is so strange. You meet people like that. It's not just even about relationships or sexuality, but in everyday life. There's some people are there. Somehow they might be doing something that is so counterintuitive. They are the ones who are actually making you feel, but somehow you are drawn to them because they make you feel inadequate. Because you see, it's all about something missing. It's a matter of supply and demand. There's something that you feel like it's missing. So you are not satisfied. And because the person is the one who is raising that alarm, you feel as if the person is the one who can actually fill that gap for you. I guess where I'm coming from. So you feel drawn. So that's why you might meet some guys or even some ladies whose boyfriends are actually maltreating them, or maybe doesn't respect or this, but they cannot want to meet him. And when people are saying, you can be new. But it's a very, very powerful sedative too. And it's actually nonsense. But it's what it is. And I'm sure some of you are here, you are a quarter. Yeah, no. You want the one who actually give you a little bit of pain. And this one actually usually happens to girls who are very, very pretty. Because you see, they don't get so much pain, so they need some pain. They actually feel as if like they owe the world something. So when that's why people say you realize that they are the ones who are drawn to some place. Why? Because they feel as if, why is it that they see people enjoying things more, but they are not enjoying the pain? Why is that? So when they meet someone who actually treats them some way, in one way, the person actually is able to, they feel more comfortable around that because they say, at least I'm also paying my dues. Because all of us want to somehow pay our dues. So stirring discontent. Then physical lures. What is physical lures? I cannot talk about everything. My time is up. Physical lures. So it's now cutting to the issue of virtue again. Where you are trusting your virtue so much, you think that no. But you see, the senses are very, very powerful. You cannot joke with your senses. Because you see, let me give you an example. You are in your room, lying down on your bed. All of a sudden, you are smelling something good from the kitchen. Your mother is cooking some frying chicken. You are drawn in by the smell of the chicken. You've not seen it yet. It's just your nose. But somewhere you say, let me go and see this chicken. You say, something about drawing you there. So you pick stand up from your bed, you go to the kitchen. And you see the chicken, you say, wow! All of a sudden, what happens? Your mouth starts watering. As your mouth sees the chicken, no, but it starts watering. Why is it watering? Because your senses are interconnected. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? What your sense of your eyes see is that thing is related to your sense of taste. Your sense of taste will start preparing itself for it to be. And now, when you start preparing itself, you are more drawn, and the decision become more stronger. It will be difficult for you to actually turn away without taking one chicken, cooking stuff. I get where I'm coming from, because your senses, and that's the danger of trusting in virtue. Because why? Your senses are interconnected. So, and one thing about the senses is that when there's some overflowing with your senses, so initially it was just your eyes, right? Okay, now your mouth is watering. Now so it's a connection. So when it's overflooded, the more your senses are overflooded, there are like two switches. Okay, you have your mental mind, that's your mind that can think. You say, oh, this is not good. I don't have to do this. No, it's not. I will not do this. And then your senses, your feelings. The more you put more water in, this one gets empty. And that's why you meet people who actually they committed fornications. I don't know what happened. I don't even know what came over me. I don't know what happened. Why? Because they allow their sense to be filled so much that their mind switch off back. They work in such a way that they cannot all be full at the same time. If one food too much, I want to block off. If you realize that all of a sudden maybe you see yourself, find yourself like kissing a girl. You know what happened? Why? Because this one got too much food. You overloaded the sense overload. So this one has to go off for this one to function. So in that case, are you in control of yourself? Some of you don't understand, but some of you understand what I'm saying. And that's the danger of trusting virtue. If you tempt yourself, yourself will actually respond to your temptation. So physical lures. So that's why it's very, very easy for you to be caught in with some things, physically speaking. Maybe a person is dressing, perfume, exposure of body, and all of a sudden you don't want to. Oh, like I said, you see, and then you say, oh, then it pulls you in again. Why? Physically, your senses are being agitated, right? From your eyes or your sense of smell or taste or whatever. There's an agitation. And if you give into it, the more you allow it, the more it will flat, and the more it will flat, pack your mind, all your logic and your Christian principles. That's why the Bible says that God. He didn't say what? Flee from. Why did he say flee from sexual temptation or whatever? Why did he say flee? Even Joseph
To run away.
run away. And you are saying that you flee from it. You don't know that you stand. Because God knows who we are. He knows that when this one moves and this one goes up. It's not me, I know, me, I'm smart, me, I'm this. It's not you who do it, but you do it. That's what I'm saying. It's just that you have a man, this thing. You decide the back. You cannot, your body has a way, it's just like any machine. Right? The way maybe you have a washing machine somewhere. You know how it can, if you do this, a powerful hand. That's the same. If you turn this one will go up. So it's not maybe you think you are so me, I'm not like that. It will happen. Why? Because you're operating on a basic Windows program. It has to function the way it must function. It has to function the way it might function. Strategic weakness. What do I mean by that? So strategic weakness is a way that people actually get themselves seduced. So all this I'm talking about seduction, being led astray, or being convinced or pretending to do something with your will, not against your will. If I say this, that maybe it doesn't force you entirely. No. This one, the guy wants to sleep with you. He's not going to rape you, but he's going to sleep with you. He or something. I guess I'm coming from. Maybe when you saw him, you didn't have any good mind. You said, no, this guy didn't. The way he is, he has done this. Everything logically tells you that you shouldn't and you mustn't do it. But it's not a matter of logic. We're talking about sexuality and feelings here. So we're talking about a matter of seduction here, where you are convinced to go along with it, convinced to your mind and your heart and your soul. It's right from your physically, you are convinced, your mind is convinced, your heart is convinced, every part. So it's a step by step thing. Until you yourself want to do it, nobody forces you, and you do it willingly. Otherwise, your mind has been convinced and pulled to come to that certain direction that otherwise you wouldn't have done it. And this is not even because you are concentrating more on sexual things or sexuality, but this cuts across in every aspect of life, even when it comes to us being tempted to sin. Strategic weakness, where somebody strategically displays a weakness that convinces you. You understand? To do something that otherwise you wouldn't have done. Just like the example Richard gave. The way you walk through the rain, you see, what that person sometimes. You see, so somebody is convinced because somebody told themselves. And I'm sure that one usually this happens to you a lot. You are convinced because somebody put himself to you, right? Or somebody actually strategically. Maybe this guy, you've heard that this guy is a very, very, like he's not good. He has been doing this, when he sleeps with you, he will not mind you again. This guy will actually come and say, you are the only one that has seen this work. Apart from ever saying it, when he says, you are lying. He says, I'll show you that I'm not lying. Then you come in a big country, you come and cry, say, come on to tell this girl that I can't live without her. This guy is saying true. It's not strategic or more like because if you know what he wants, you know that. So this someone who is seducing you intentionally. But somebody can also actually use strategic goodness without even intentionally doing it. So it can be maybe shyness. It can be a strategic goodness. That somebody's shyness can actually draw you to the person. It's like a childlike thing. Where the person says, this girl, the way she looks so good, it's a strategic weakness. And that weakness is strategic because of its interpretation. She's open to interpretation. That's very strategic. So now, what we're starting, see, because of you, I cannot even think that way I'm losing it. And it's only giving me a physical manifestation. It's not just saying you can see it. So you'll be what? Convinced. It's strategic weakness. So weakness that is strategically placed in such a way that it will convince you to do what the person wants you to do. Okay. My time is up, so I will be concluding. I'm sure that you have wished it. Okay. Okay, so this one there we cannot go there. We cannot go there. It's alright. It's also a very interesting listen. This one last year, it was part of the slides. Yeah, the last 2 years. You remember that particular slide, right? Well, we didn't go there. And this year we are not going to go there. What did I say? All right. Thank you very much. I think we'll be moving to our next session, which will be the question and answer time. Okay. So Mr. Richard will take over from here, and then we'll take us. Thank you very much for listening.